Well, hello guys, and welcome back to WandaVision. And oh my god, I am usually I do these like the next morning after the episode comes out because they usually come out at like midnight. It's 3 a.m. right now, and that's when I'm doing this. I am so fucking tired. Oh god, but and god, I need to be up in like 4 hours for a Pokemon Direct. Ugh. Oh God. Also, yeah, she's asleep and there's nothing I can do about that. She snores, so deal with it. But yeah, so last week I said this week's WandaVision was make it or break it. And you know what? They fucking made it. God damn it, this was great. This was it's not everything I wanted per se, as I'm kind of iffy on the ending, but we'll get to that. But other than that, no, everything else was so fucking good. God damn it. God damn it. And this was an extra 10 minutes long. And god damn it, this show's so fucking good. You know, and I was saying last week I said like, oh, right, waiting for one of these WandaVisions is like Christmas morning or whatever. Right? But a part of that is probably because we're still trapped in quarantine and the whole situation's going on. So it's not like there's anything we can do. So we're just kind of stuck here right now. And yeah, I guess there's nothing better to do. So we might as well enjoy it, you know? Because, God, at least through this, I can tell what Friday is. Through this, I can tell what Friday is. And thanks to Animal Crossing, I can tell what Sunday is. Because that's when I got to buy my turnips. But yeah, god damn it, I'm enjoying the hell out of this. This is it's so good to have this all back, and I'm not gonna say I had fun, but I'm definitely enjoying myself. Right? It's like I would say it's like a more digestible version of like The Last of Us or something like that. But because they're not comparable at all. Because this is better. I jest. No, I seriously did enjoy this. And this, all right, make or break time. And this entire episode is basically flashbacks. It's all cutting back to everything that's happened throughout Wanda's life, how we got to where we are, all with because so Agnes is the villain, but but she plays an interesting role in this episode because it seems like we start off with her like back in Salem, what, 1693, something like that. And they're like trying to I'm presuming they're like trying to take her life essence, but she flips the script and instead steals their life essence because she like drains them, including her own mother and evil, I guess, because why not? Sure, I guess. So Agatha, right, that kind of sets up Agatha's whole motivation throughout this episode is that she just wants to know how Wanda did what she did. And that makes sense, right? It makes an interesting dynamic in this episode because she doesn't feel like the villain. A lot of this is like, right, like she cracks jokes about like, oh, taking Wanda to therapy, right? That's all this is it's just therapy, that to heal the future she has to go back to the past or whatever the hell. And yeah, that's definitely the vibe I'm getting from this. Because yeah, she doesn't, I mean, I guess she's playing an antagonisting role because she's forcing Wanda to relive all these horrible memories and everything, but she doesn't really feel like an antagonist in the episode, not until the very end, right? But up until that point, I'm not going to call her like a guide or anything. She's just, it feels very gray at the beginning of this episode or throughout it, right? Because, well, yeah, at the beginning, she's got Wanda tied up. She kills all those peoples in our flashback scene. It's clear that all she wants to do is learn. She wants to know how Wanda did what she did. and because she wants to do it herself, quest for knowledge and all that jazz. That's an interesting motivation. Shows Wanda some tricks early on and is like, these take effort, these take years to master. You are doing this all on a grand scale, a bunch at a time. How are you doing this? What triggered this? So now we're gonna go back to the past and remember. So we start back, we see them as kids. They're 10, which, okay, the father brings, okay, what's our time scale here? The year is 2023, I think, in the MCU now. Yeah, they're still 2 years ahead of us, I think. Wanda and Age of Ultron came out in what, like 24? It was like 2014, right? Or was it 2016? Because I was trying to, because like they have DVDs and this flashback. They've got, I mean, they're in, right, she calls it like Cold War era, like decals, like, because Agatha calls it that, but they're not in the Cold War, clearly. This takes place at some point after the Cold War, because if Malcolm in the Middle's on DVD, this has got to be at least like 2001-ish, at least, and yeah, that's long past the Cold War. So I'm not entirely sure what our time frame is. I mean, I guess it's still fine. Like, honestly, if you say like, oh, this is 2003, yeah, I guess that would work. Sure, whatever. But yeah, we get this scene and we find out, oh, this is where her love for sitcoms comes from. Because as a kid, she would watch them with her parents, and her favorite was the Dick Van Dyke Show. And yeah, we get this touching little scene, but of course, you know what's going to happen. Her parents are killed. Her and her brother hide under the bed. The Stark bomb is there. Agatha is trying to retcon it as the reason the bomb didn't go off is because Wanda used her magic to stop the bomb. I think the idea that it's just pure luck and like what they set up in Age of Ultron is stronger in my opinion. And the fact that Wanda still believes that's what happens, it's kind of left up for interpretation. So take it whichever way you will, I guess. Yeah, sure, that makes sense. I don't know. I still like the original, that it was just pure luck. I think that's more interesting, even though I could see the argument for the other way, I guess. And also, yeah, while they're waiting there on the bomb, the TV is still playing, and she's like, "Oh, at the end of the episode, we find out it's all a dream." I don't like that. That just kind of felt the whole, oh, right, the TV's still on, and she's like watching the TV. That kind of felt out of place. Part of me gets the feeling that that's part of the Agatha, like forcing her to remember this all, but I'm not sure. And yeah, the TV in the scene, like, it felt kind of forced, I'll be honest. So yeah, I don't really care for that. Then we go to the next scene with her in the Hydra base. I like that Agatha's like, "Oh, so you were mad at Stark, so you joined an anti-freedom terrorist group." Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. That's funny, right? I get it. And I mean, yeah, Agatha's got some nice, like, because again, the villain is depression. So Agatha's playing up that and commenting on these little things. And I think she does a great job in this episode of doing that. Right? Agatha's done, she's kind of playing the villain, but she's also not. And I think that's really interesting. And I think the episode does a good job of playing off that. But we see what happens with her in the right as we see the blue stone comes out. It breaks into the gold stone, the mind stone. She sees something and she falls on the floor. And it's because of that she got her Scarlet Witch powers. Agatha is like, "Oh, you were always a witch, but your powers would have died out. But you got a boost from the Infinity Stones." And the stone, when the stone breaks open, you see what looks like the comic version of Scarlet Witch in the reflection of the Infinity Stone. Yeah, when the stone breaks open, you see, yeah, what looks like the comic version of Wanda, because it's got the headpiece. So that's interesting. I know the commercial in last week's episode talked about Nexus beings, and I know Wanda is. So, as it was explained to me by probably Tim Geddes or Greg Miller or one of them, a Nexus being is like a creature that exists within all realities. So right there's Wanda and Vision are both Nexus beings, and they both exist in every reality. So every reality has a Wanda, every reality has a Vision, and they can travel between them? Question mark. I don't know. Again, I don't read that many comics, but let's just assume that sure they can do that. So maybe that's like this is like she sees herself as like a Nexus being sort of thing, and maybe it is literally the Wanda from the comics, because again, all realities, kind of in the same way that Peter B. Parker in Into the Spider-Verse is the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Or what is it, Peter B. Parker, or is it the Peter the blonde one? I don't remember. It's been a while. One of them is Tobey Maguire. That's all I know. Yeah, maybe it's something like that. It's based on how the episode ends. I do have my worries, but we'll get back to that. Our next scene is in the Avengers compound, right at some point after Age of Ultron, but before Civil War. We see Wanda and Vision, right, forming their bond. And this was the moment. It was this scene, them sitting on the bed talking about Pietro and how, right, the only thing that could make her feel better is if she could see him again. That was the moment where I was like, yeah, they made it, right? Because make or break last week. And that was the moment where I was like, yep, they fucking made it. Seeing like the start of their like romance, I was like, fuck, yes. And just them, again, the villain is Grief. So seeing that the villain is Grief, but he's there to help her, and right, seeing the kindling of their romance, it's a really good scene. It's, God, yeah, this is the moment where I was fucking sold on the episode. Where I was like, yep, they fucking pulled this off. My hope was that we were going to get a scene after Civil War and before Infinity War, because they were sneaking off together to advance their love and all that, because right, that's where we catch up with them in Infinity War, and I was hoping we'd get a scene in there as well. That doesn't happen, but it's no big deal. So our next scene takes us to right before this all happened, and we see Wanda, and she storms into Sword. She talks to the director, and she finds out that they're taking apart Vision. And now we had seen, right, a few episodes ago, we had seen a scene where Wanda stole Vision's body reportedly, and we find out that's bullshit. But this is still a really fucking good scene. Because, right, in Infinity War, we see Wanda fiddle with his Mind Stone and is like, oh, I can feel you in there. So now she fiddles with his head in this and she can't feel anything. And it's a really fucking good scene. And, like, the fact that she doesn't take the body is also great. That the guy's just, that guy's our villain. Even, like, fuck him. And, yeah, we'll get back to that. Which does make me question what he's doing. But we'll get back to that. We'll get back to a lot of things, I guess. Because there's only one episode left, and shit's about to go down. Plus, I'm expecting, like, Captain Marvel to show up, because, yeah. She then leaves the Sword compound. There's, like, an envelope. She goes to Westview, and we find out that Vision was building, or that Vision was building them a house in the suburbs, so that way they could live the rest of their lives together. And it just fucking breaks your heart. Cause right, oh God, I didn't cry. I cry in media all the fucking time, right? But this, nah, The only Marvel movie that I think has ever gotten me, well, okay, yes, Endgame gave me tears of joy. Sure, let's fucking go with that. But other than that, it was the second Guardians of the Galaxy. That one, the ending of that fucking breaks me every time. But yeah, this didn't get me. It's still really well done though. And right, just like as you realize like what's going on, it's the acting's fucking phenomenal throughout the Elizabeth Olsen just does an amazing job throughout this entire fucking episode. And yeah, seeing this scene as she constructs the house and the entire Westview gets set back, right, Dick Van Dyke show, and she doesn't steal the Vision's body. Instead, she creates a new Vision. That's, again, it goes back to the Vision as a nexus being. So did she just create a new Vision, or did she like help construct one from another universe? The fact, like, I don't know. Are we remaking the Infinity Stones? Because God damn it, I don't know why. God damn it, I know why I know this. I know Infinity Stones from one universe don't work in a different universe because of that one time the Marvel villain the DC villain Darkseid had the Infinity Gauntlet, but it didn't work in the DC universe because Infinity Stones only work in the universe they're originally from. In that case, the 313 Marvel universe. God damn it, JLA/Avengers is fucking amazing. God, I have so much fucking fun with that comic. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just a stone. Who knows? Maybe at least now it explains why Vision can't leave the bubble. Cause right, I was like, if she just brought the Vision's body back to life, like, yeah, maybe I could see him falling over dead. But then when I saw it like all strung out on the tables and like torn apart into pieces, I was like, okay, she put him back more together than we've been let on. But no, she just created a new Vision. That's interesting to say the least. And yeah, from that, we're almost at the point of break. We kind of break the fourth wall. I think one of the previous episodes was called like Beyond the Fourth Wall or something like that. But we're almost, because right, she sees Agatha in the studio audience. Now that Agatha basically figures out what's going on, or at least she claims she knows, and yeah, she's probably right. But yeah, I would be worried if we go a what was it? Friday the 13th New Nightmare? Not Friday. Nightmare on Elm Street New Nightmare, where New Nightmare is like a meta movie about the actress who played the girl in the original Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street, who's being haunted by a fictional Jason, and eventually, or not Freddy Krueger, and Freddy Krueger becomes aware that he is a fictional character because, I mean, there's 20 of those movies. You gotta take them somewheres, I guess. That's not gonna happen, obviously, but like we're encroaching that territory, if you know what I mean. Wanda runs out into the street. Both the kids are Agatha's got like things around their neck, and she's like, "Oh, I get it now. You're a legend. You're the Scarlet Witch." Which, yeah, like I said a few episodes ago, I was surprised they'd never said Scarlet Witch in any of the MCU movies, but yeah, sure enough, they never have. And that goes back to the whole Infinity Stone thing and where she's getting her powers from, some legend about the Scarlet Witch and why she's able to do all this because she's super powerful. They mentioned chaos magic, which is interesting. That's because I know that's how her powers work in the comics, question mark? Because again, the MCU's approach to magic so far has been that magic is just science, which I think is a very interesting and actually really well done approach. I mean, the first Thor movie puts it the best. But even like Doctor Strange and whatnot have done a really good job at explaining magic in the MCU. So, because Agatha's magic just feels very different than Doctor Strange's. And this whole chaos magic thing, I'm sure they're going to stick to it. I have no reason to believe they aren't going to be like, oh yeah, chaos magic. It's just like it's a more chaotic, more uncontrollable version of magic. I don't know how the fucking chaos magic works in the comics. I've read a few comics and I could not tell you shit about shit because, yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of our end stinger that, hey, you're the Scarlet Witch. So we'll see what that is. We'll find out what the mythical Scarlet Witch is, I guess. That's probably my biggest problem with this episode is at the Agatha, because Agatha's such an interesting throughout this episode. And then at the end, she just goes full villain. And I think that's way less interesting. I'll still stand by the real villain is Grief. And especially that scene with Wanda and Vision in the bedroom. Definitely, the real Vision is Grief. I know one of the things I said a few weeks ago, one of the things that's good about the MCU is that they don't shy away from the names in the comics, because the names and the costumes are usually the two goofiest things. That's why the X-Men that's why the original 3 X-Men movies are the way they are, because they're trying to avoid the names and they're trying to avoid the costumes. And yeah, and there's a ton of other shit like that because the 90s were not kind. In the early 2000s, I guess. I mean, Ben Affleck was Daredevil. So yeah, and then so last week there was an end credit scene. It was just Monica Rambeau meeting the fake Quicksilver, who, yeah, we learn is just the fake Quicksilver. That's it. That's all it's just some guy. There's no multiverse shenanigans, probably. It's just some guy she was using magic on. Okay, whatever. Well, I mean, and it does make sense, right? Her wanting to figure out why how she's doing it does line up with what the questions Pietro was asking, 2 episodes ago? So that all does track. And so our post-credit scene this time is that, the Hayward is planning something, so they go inside, and I guess they use the magic from the drone they recovered. That's because it's got wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff in it, and they use it to bring the Vision back to life. But not just any Vision, a white Vision, who is presumably evil or something, because he's being controlled by Hayward, I guess. The White Vision is something from the comics. It definitely looks familiar. They could have brought back Jocasta as well. That wouldn't have surprised me either, that they created their own Vision. Because yeah, Wanda didn't steal the Vision's body, so instead Hayward's trying to use the magic to create his own Vision. And now he wants to get rid of the one in the bubble, I guess? If I had to guess, the 2 Visions are going to merge. Or the consciousness of the Vision inside the bubble is going to go into the body of the new Vision. Because I kind of said Vision wasn't making it out of this. And yeah, I guess our original Vision isn't making out of this. But we have a new Vision? So maybe he'll make it out of this? I don't know. And we've been following up until this point. Him putting his brain in the new one would make sense, and I'm gonna guess that's where it's gonna go. Are the kids real? I don't know. Are the kids gonna make it out of this? I don't know. Is Wanda gonna make it out of this? Yes. Is she going to go into the multiverse? Because, and we're gonna basically get the lighthouse scene from the end of BioShock Infinite? Probably. Make or break time, and they fucking pulled it off. And just a great episode. It doesn't all hit for me, admittedly, but I still liked it a lot more than the little moments that break aren't enough to ruin it. I still really enjoyed it. But yeah, we've got 1 episode left. I am curious to see how this is going to end. But I'm loving it. I am loving this show, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.